Hey, we're back with the Screen Team. We're doing movie reviews with Guy, and Guy has got something special for you now. This one is called Kong Skull Island, and this is about King Kong, right?
Oh, yeah.
The King Kong from the 1930s film and the 1970s film, that King Kong?
Same King Kong.
Same King Kong. And instead of this one being based in the 1930s or 40s when the other ones were, this one is based in the 1970s. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
Basic kind of premise, we've got a group of humans, individuals who are going to this island to discover something amazing, right?
Right. It ultimately follows the story of John Goodman's character, who is looking for what is ostensibly monsters. And people think he's a hack, and he finally gets some government funding to be able to go check this out. They go to this uncharted island that satellite images show is shaped like a skull.
Oh, cool.
You can't get to it. It's completely uncharted even in the 1970s because the island is surrounded by hurricanes.
Okay.
You cannot get to it. So they fly through the hurricane to find this island. They finally get there, and all manners of creatures are there, and it is literally an island of monsters.
Yeah.
And the ruler of the monsters and the ones who keeps everything at bay is Kong. Kong is king.
And from what I understand, this King Kong is a lot bigger than the King Kong that we're normally accustomed to. Is that right?
This King Kong roughly is about 100 feet tall.
Okay.
He's roughly 10 stories. And I love the CGI in this, by the way. It doesn't look directly like a gorilla.
Uh-huh.
It looks enough like a gorilla to tell that it's a gorilla, but it also, they specifically designed this character to be evocative of the 1933 Harryhausen stop motion Kong. So it looks like that. And you know that looks nothing like a monkey.
Yeah.
But it has that kind of a feel to it. So it brings it back to that feeling of nostalgia, especially for people like me who love monster movies.
Yeah.
I have very nostalgic feelings about that. But overall, the entire movie was a joy to sit through, except for one sequence.
Okay. What was that?
There was Granddaddy Longlegs that were about 8 stories tall.
Okay.
I'm deathly afraid of spiders.
Oh, okay. I was like, well, what's wrong with that? So that's
I'm
the problem.
deathly afraid of spiders. So to see spiders that big scared the living crap out of me.
So I guess you're not going to be reviewing Arachnophobia then, right?
Oh, no. I've never seen that movie. My parents went to go see it. My brother thought it'd be fun to tell me what happened. I punched him in the face. No, I'm not reviewing it.
So Kong Skull Island, how was the action sequences?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
The action sequences were really good, really palpable. It was shot very well, unlike a lot of action nowadays where it's all quick camera cuts.
Mm-hmm.
It was long takes. You could see what was going on. You could feel the emotional content and the weight of what was going on. And when you saw these big creatures and even Kong walking around, they didn't feel like soft marshmallowy puppets. They felt like they had weight. They felt like there was gravity to these things, that the motions meant something. So when you saw Kong grab a helicopter, rip it in half, and just beat it into the ground, you felt it. You felt that was real. You felt that it was a very visceral experience watching this happen. And I thought that was very well done and a refreshing change from a lot of the action you see nowadays.
So I'm curious. I've seen a lot of reviews about this movie. Everybody says Kong is amazing. He's probably one of the best parts about this film. What about the character development with a lot of our people, like John Goodman and Samuel L. Jackson and those folks? How are the humans in this movie?
The humans are good. John Goodman's character is very, very knowledgeable about what he talks about. You can tell that he knows what he's talking about. And his development and his arc really works. There are 2 main characters that have the biggest arc. Samuel L. Jackson's character throughout, and Tom Hiddleston's character. Mm-hmm. Tom Hiddleston's character is a mercenary who gets hired as a tracker through this island that's uncharted. Samuel L. Jackson is a military colonel who has all the soldiers to help with this expedition.
Right.
And where Tom Hiddleston is just... I don't care about anything. I'm just, By the end, he cares about the place that he is. He cares about the respect that he needs for what it needs to do to be able to get out of where he needs to go. He also understands that once you realize Kong is not an enemy, he's the protector of the island, and you invaded his territory. He understands where he needs to go in terms of getting the people safe. Samuel Jackson is the exact opposite. Even when he finds out about Kong, he doesn't care. He views him as the enemy. He's going to take him out. My only major gripe of this film is the ham-fisted message of the problem is man.
It always is.
I hate the SJW message of that essentially, yes, man is pure evil. Man will rape your puppy if given the chance.
Right.
I hate that kind of a message because, yes, we have an impact on our environment. Yes, we understand that. But when you make it where animals are all good and man is the twirling mustache, evil, snidely whiplat, no, It's not true. And you can't be that naive to think that it's that black and white. And when you put that kind of a message in there, it kind of kills the whole momentum.
Yeah.
But that being said, this was a joy. This was a thrill ride. This was a fun roller coaster to be on. Even my girl will tell you. At one point, the evil monster, the skull crawlers, as they're called, are coming after the main characters, and you think Kong has gone somewhere. All of a sudden, you hear a roar, and you see Kong flying through the air with a big branch coming down on. I actually raised my arms. Yes, I was happy. I was elated because it was an action sequence that you needed.
Yeah.
Funny side note: there's an after credit sequence.
I've heard about this. I'm curious. Before we go any further, we might delve into a spoiler. So if you're not into wanting to know any more about this, it's cool. We'll catch back with you in a minute, okay? So, end credits sequence. What's up with Kong Skull Island?
Okay. Bit of context. You run into the native tribe of the island, and as they're telling the story of Kong and his family and the protecting of the island, you see little cave paintings that kind of depict what's going on. Well, for those of us who know monsters and monster movies, you also, at the end credit sequence, see him panning around and you see Mothra. You see Rodan. You see King Ghidorah.
Yeah.
And in the background distance, you hear Godzilla.
And
you hear the roar.
Yeah.
And there's a reason for that. Godzilla was the first. Now there's Kong Skull Island. Next year, Godzilla 2 in 2020. They're already planning Kong versus Godzilla. They're doing King of the Monsters. They're doing a Monsterverse of all the classic monsters.
So who do you root for in that guy? Who do you root for?
I don't know. I loved Godzilla and I love Kong. I don't know. I honestly... What I think would be awesome won't happen, but I think what would be great is, as you're showing all this, you have Kong versus Godzilla. Mm-hmm. They're starting to fight. All of a sudden, you see like Mothra or Rodan come in, and they almost have to team up to take on the evil. Yeah, it's cliche. Yeah, it's been done to death. But the fact to see Kong and Godzilla working together to take down a monster would be... It would bring out the 10-year-old kid in me. I love that stuff. When I was a little kid, I watched King Kong versus Godzilla.
Yeah.
I watched the old Japanese Sutronics films. They are a part of my childhood, and this is nothing but rekindling that love. That's all this is.
The only bad thing is you got to wait a few years.
Yeah,
that's the only bad thing.
That's the bad thing. But it's great because it gets movie nuts like me to do a lot of speculating.
Yeah.
And me and a group of cinephiles will just sit there and just speculate for the next 5 years what's going on. And when we finally see it, it will either meet, live up to, or not hit our expectations.
Right.
But it is what it is. But we will see, and we will definitely have a lot of time to speculate on this.
We'll get you back on for that review, most definitely, man. Guy, appreciate you being on the show, man. And
I love it.
We'll get you back on very, very soon.
Oh, yeah.
That's Guy. I'm Chris. We are the Screen Team. Thanks for listening. We'll see you back here next Saturday at 6 p.m. on KWOC.
Have a great night.